Thanks for shining on with us. Hi, everybody. Thank you for waking up and shining on with us.
Yeah, this is exciting because it's been a while and we're back. We're now rebranding it the Bring Me to Life podcast.
And we're doing things. Sorry that we've kind of been off our normal Tuesday schedule, but we are coming back at you with some awesome people, awesome interviews, and we hope that you are ready to tune in because we are gearing up for our Crystal Chalice Awards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we even have 2 camera angles now, so get both, different sides. But, just really exciting to be back. It's been a long time. You can still reach out to us on Twitter at PBM2L. We're on Facebook, and we have a lot of other great content besides the podcast. ProjectBringMeLife.com is a good place to go.
That's the best place to go. You can find all of our people there. We have our awesome directory. You can contact us. Just check us out on ProjectBringMeLife.com, and don't forget to share us on your favorite social media so your friends can find us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this episode we are talking with Amanda Amethyst, and we're talking with her about the Nectar of the Goddess Temple. Mm-hmm. It's a traveling goddess temple that she takes around.
Yeah, she does these really cool workshops. She touches on the Magdalene, the Divine Blueprint, and then we also just talked to her about what got her on her spiritual journey to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a really good story about the spiritual awakening, which is what we're all about, awakening humanity.
For many of us, spirituality is just the quest to find essence or true meaning and to really just connect with a higher consciousness.
Welcome to the Bring Me to Life Network.
Connecting with your spirituality is very important in this life. By becoming mindful of all of that, you can realize where you are and if that is leading you to where you want to go.
Listen to the little simple things, because it's those little simple things that are going to shift you vibrationally in such a way that will prepare you to become very intuitively minded and ready to step forward on the next part of your path.
I hope you can feel the love that's inside you, it's inside me, that connects us.
Awakening humanity to spirituality and higher consciousness.
All right, and welcome to the show, Amanda, Amara, Amethyst.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah. First of all, do you prefer Amanda or Amara?
Well, I'm still going by Amanda right now. Yeah. Okay. Amanda Amethyst. Amara is a spiritual name that I have, and I do use that sometimes. But I found that I'm more comfortable with being called Amanda by the general population of everybody.
Mm-hmm. And could you tell us a little bit more about the Nectar of the Goddess Temple? What is it, and what are you doing in there?
Of course, yes. The Nectar of the Goddess Temple is a mobile sacred space, nourishing seeds of our new reality, our new fifth dimensional earth consciousness, and it's also in support of the rise of the divine feminine. And of course, we all have the divine feminine within us and the divine masculine within us. So it's in support of those who are embodied as the feminine in this lifetime, and also for everybody to get back in touch with both aspects of their inner divinity as well. So it is a mobile sacred space, as I said, and the Nectar of the Goddess Temple travels all over the continental United States so far. Hopefully we'll expand that in the future, see how it goes. Mm-hmm. But I like to go, I'm really inspired by music and art festivals and that scene. I feel that people feel safe and comfortable to open up in that environment and explore things that they wouldn't normally explore in their day-to-day lives, play with different parts of themselves, allow for different parts of themselves to come up to the surface. And so I really enjoy bringing the Nectar of the Goddess Temple to music and art festivals because I feel that really what people are looking for at these festivals, whether or not they're consciously aware of it, is this source connection and coming back to their true selves as divine spiritual beings. So by bringing the goddess temple there, I'm simply providing a space for people to recognize that. At first they recognize it externally, maybe as the space itself or as the people who are in the goddess temple. And then as they get a little closer and come in, perhaps meditate or take a workshop or join a ceremony, that helps them to really open up further to understand that they are this divine, beautiful spark of creativity.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
So what actually, you mentioned music festivals and other events like that, but what actually got you into your spiritual path? Was there ever a moment that had you not went to one of these events or experienced that you may not be on the path you are today?
Yes, I feel like I've had several of those at different points in my life. I've always felt very different in this life, and there have been certain, so one thing that was a major game changer for me was when I was pretty young. I was still in high school, and I was really sick. I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I was bedridden off and on for almost 2.5 years. And that completely shifted my perception of reality, because I began having these experiences of expanded consciousness beyond anything that I could classify in what I had learned already in life. So I really realized that I was not my physical body, my actions, my thoughts, my emotions, that I was much more than all of those things. And when I came back sort of into this, I like to call it little Amanda, into this package of me here on this dimension, it sort of sparked a deeper curiosity in me to learn more about and get back to that expanded state, and to learn how why we're all here and what we're here to do. So that was a pretty big one for me. I didn't really understand, because I had no frame of reference for what any of that meant at all. So I started exploring a little bit the teachings of Thich Nhat Hanh and some more Buddhist tradition. I also started exploring yoga and doing a lot of physical practice with yoga and some breathwork and meditation as well. I have a couple of other points that were very specifically spiritual for me as well. Before, I was traveling around with a mobile goddess temple. I was actually a park ranger for the National Park Service. And so I lived in the wilderness for several years, in Alaska and in Texas and in California. And I had the beautiful opportunity to really connect with the wilderness and the raw power of Mother Earth, and witness how insignificant and tiny I was in the scheme of the planet. And that was a really big shifting point for me as well. And then after I finally allowed myself to let go of my career, quote unquote career, with the National Park Service, I went to a meditation retreat in California that was in the tradition of Thich Nhat Hanh, and Thich Nhat Hanh was actually there. He does a North American tour every other year. So I went to this retreat, and it was a 5-day silent mindfulness meditation retreat. But we had groups where we could ask questions and talk about what we were going through, share our experience. And in that group, I felt the need to ask a question about how to maintain my meditation practice, because I've had experiences of being really into it and meditating every day, and then all of a sudden not so much anymore, and just stop. And I felt like I was having these stop and go and sort of stunted experiences, and I wanted to ask for support with that. And I realized while I was trying to formulate the words of the question that what I was truly looking for was spiritual community, the Sangha, the spiritual community. And I had been literally avoiding that by living in the wilderness for several years. So I really had to face up to myself and my own actions getting me to where I was, which was unfulfilled and not feeling connected. And after I had that realization, I also realized that I needed to settle in somewhere and build a community. And shortly after that, I was still in California. That's where the retreat was, but I wasn't at the retreat anymore. And the words mobile goddess temple, it felt like somebody just put them into my head. And so then I just committed myself to that path, and that's what started off the Nectar of the Goddess Temple and really spurred my own spiritual path.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really enjoy that, and I like how you were learning all this stuff, and you were looking for a community, and it just started to build your own, which I respect that a whole lot.
Yeah, I feel like things just kind of fall into place when the goddess or the gods come into play, and they give us these ideas. And I love that your story shows others that they can take those ideas and make something out of them, and they don't just have to be spur of the moment. Oh, I wish I would have done that. Like, you can do something with it, and it not only helps you, but it helps everyone that's involved. So I think it's a really beautiful thing. Can you tell us a little bit more about the workshops that you mentioned that happen in the Goddess Temple? So what could somebody imagine doing while they're there?
Sure. Well, we have several different types of workshops. So I'll talk about the ones that I usually offer, because with the Goddess Temple, it's not just a one-person show. There are several other people who assist me at various events, and those people tend to switch out. So whoever's there offers their own expertise at the time. So when some of the workshops that I really enjoy offering are a sisterhood circle, a space that is for those who are embodied as the feminine or for those who identify as sisters, to come together and really talk about and work through some of the conditioning and some of our own issues that we have had in the past, or that we're carrying for all women or all of humanity, and to be able to re-empower ourselves as individuals and also as a collective group of women, or those who feel who identify as sisters in this world. So there's a sisterhood circle. I also really love sharing about sacred sexuality, and we delve into tantric practices a little bit, Taoist practices, Kwadoshka, Native American sacred sexuality practices, and we open up a safe space for people to talk about sexuality as an expression of their divine nature. We also talk in that space about consent and communication and really being loving towards everybody, no matter what their unique path is. We also do a lot of guided meditations in the temple, as well as ceremonies. And I personally am really passionate about sound healing. So we also offer sound healing meditations and specific sound healing activations in the temple space as well.
Beautiful. I think I got to witness one of your sound healing events in person at 3DL. It's kind of something that you did in addition to the Magdalene activation, which I managed to attend, and it was really touched by it, and it had a really profound impact on my Magdalene experience for the next few months. And I think you did very well with that. And you also did a full moon ceremony, I believe. Everyone had nectar of the goddess to drink during the ceremony. Is that correct? You did it with the singing bowls?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Can you tell us a little bit how that works? Like what the singing bowl does to the water and makes the nectar of the goddess?
Sure. Yeah, so that particular full moon ceremony, we used some wonderful spring water, which I was able to bring from Arkansas to the event in North Carolina. So the water was gathered on the full moon prior to the full moon that we did our ceremony on, and was infused with crystals and some honey, some local honey from Arkansas as well. So it was infused with a lot of different beautiful energies and vibrations for all of us to then imbibe and connect with. And then I also played singing bowls. So I have several different, they're called alchemy crystal singing bowls, and they're made of different types of crystals and gemstones. So when things are placed inside of them, like for example, water, and then the bowl is played, it infuses the water with whatever the energy of that particular crystal and also that frequency of the bowl is. So it makes for a powerful little, I was gonna say punch. It's not really a punch.
It's like a nectar. Yeah. Spiritual nectar.
Makes for a powerful nectar for us all to enjoy. Yeah.
I love that idea of just like spiritual punch. Maybe thinking of some big like ascended master punching through a wall.
Oh gosh.
Like, oh yeah.
Totally different spectrum. Oh yes. So we had you part of our Shine Online festival a few months ago, and we did have some technical difficulties, but you came back and you did a blueprint activation workshop, and everybody was so excited to be a part of that. Can you explain for those who may have missed it a little bit more about the divine blueprint and just like a summary of that kind of event?
Sure. Yeah, that was a really beautiful event, and it was really sweet to see that a lot of the people who had been excited to attend it on the original, the day that we were intending to have it, still showed up like a month later. So that was really awesome. And I felt like everybody was, I'm sorry?
They were dedicated.
Yeah, they were really dedicated. So that was great. So the Divine Blueprint, I had been made aware of this, or I had become aware of the concept of Divine Blueprint a couple of years ago. And then when I studied with my teacher, who I apprenticed under for shamanic healing and also some of the goddess work that I do, she was really, her name is Teresina Balkans, and she's an amazing being of light. She is very passionate about the Divine Blueprint, as am I. And so the Divine Blueprint is the sacred geometric architecture of our soul, is a way that I like to think of it. It's what we are on other dimensional realities and what we can bring into our existence here in this dimension, in this reality. And our Divine Blueprint makes up all of our potential, all that we are and can be and do. So it's a really exciting, beautiful thing. And each of us has access to this Divine Blueprint at any time that we choose to access it. So the Divine Blueprint activation that I offered to the group was I guess it's similar to a shamanic journey where we get into a deep meditative space and then journey through our hearts to the sixth dimension, the sacred geometric dimension, where we can see and then merge with our Divine Blueprint. And I also use the singing bowls and vocalizing myself to facilitate that process. And people tend to have very ecstatic and beautiful experiences of the alignment with the Divine Blueprint, because it's such a beautiful thing. And many times people feel so disconnected and feel so separate from all of their potential, that once we realize that we aren't that far off and that we can touch that and be that, it is a really ecstatic and joyful feeling. So that was a beautiful experience to share with everybody, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to do that with you. So thank you for allowing that.
We're grateful too. How did you come about like learning about the divine blueprint?
Oh, I'm not exactly sure where I first came across it, but where I really got to know and felt like I understood what it meant was through working with my teacher, Teresina. She really shared her depth of knowledge with me and allowed me to have my own experiences of it as well. So I feel like with any good teacher or guide, there is that sense of sort of setting out, this is the path, setting out the sort of giving you a general idea and some background information so that you feel confident in yourself to have your own experience, and then allowing the other to have that experience. So she was a really beautiful teacher in that way.
I think it's really important to have a good teacher, like a tutor to share their knowledge with you about some of the same things that you're interested in.
For sure. I think teachers are a really important part of the whole journey. And then you end up teaching your teacher a little bit of something too, or like how to teach somebody else something. So it's a really important part to have.
Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way. And I feel like in our society right now, and in our people who are of younger generations, I feel like there's a little bit, and this could be my own perception, but I feel like there's a little bit of a moving away from seeking out a teacher or a guru. Even the word guru now seems like it has this charge around it of like, oh, well, I'm my own guru. And of course we are our own guru, and we are our own teachers. And as Shannon said, we end up being the teachers for our teachers. But I do think it's really important to find a teacher who you trust and who you resonate with to work with, especially if you're going to be delving into doing energy work on other people or anything where there are deeper esoteric knowledge and wisdom involved. I feel like it's really beautiful to have a teacher. And it's also a lovely way that we can honor our elders, which I think is something that is not spoken about as much in our generation. Actually, let me rephrase that. It hasn't been spoken about as much in the past, perhaps a couple, I don't know how to word this the right way. I feel like our generation can really bring about a new respect for and a new way of like coming back to the village. So we can really model this for those who are a little bit younger than us, of connecting with our elders and respecting them and honoring them and really learning from what they have to share with us.
I feel like our generation has been doing that a lot more, like reaching out and trying to help our elders. And it's that generation kind of before us and some of us that have forgotten how important our elders are and how important our traditions are. And there's a handful of us that are really bringing that back to life and showing gratefulness to those that have taught us in the past. So I think you're right. I think we are bringing that village family vibe back together.
Yeah, and one way that's been really helpful is through YouTube, which is one of our main platforms for the podcast. But as I understand, you also have your own YouTube channel, Amanda.
I do, yes. I have a YouTube channel where I share lunar tarot readings and some. Oh, I don't even remember what else is on there. I think there's a meditation for peace, and there are going to be more prayers on there as well as sound healing. I also have a live stream channel, which is also just called Amanda Amethyst. So live stream / Amanda Amethyst. And there are several different ceremonies on there that people can tap into at any time. There's also a Magdalene Code activation on live stream that people can tap into at any time, as well as another prayer for peace on there.
Great.
Praying for peace.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the community, or what other projects you may be working on, or where we can find you this year?
Yes, definitely. I am working on a sound healing album, so that's pretty exciting for me. It will be my first musical offering that's in tangible form, other than just me playing everywhere I go. So that's exciting. That should be coming out within the next probably, I don't know, 2 months. Let's say 2 months. That will be out within the next 2 months. I'm also doing a small sound healing tour through Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, perhaps even Iowa. So some right in the middle of the country here. Cool. I'm going to be sharing some more sound healing with crystal singing bowls. So that's exciting because it's pretty different for this area. I recently moved back to Arkansas, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place, and it's a very split populace. So some people are really into all of the crystals that are in Arkansas and all of the fresh spring water and doing energy work and meditating, and other people are really not. So it's really fun to be here and to show some different alternatives to people here. So those are some of the upcoming events. I have a sound healing concert in Little Rock, Arkansas on May 13th, which is a Friday, at the Academy of Holistic Arts. And I'll be bringing the Nectar of the Goddess Temple to a couple of festivals this summer. So far, I haven't planned too many festivals for the year, but I will be at Solar Flux Festival, which is in Greenbrier, Arkansas, in the beginning of June 5th through 8th. And I'll also be I believe I'll be at Unify Fest, which is an exciting event. Hopefully I'll see both of you there as well.
That's in New Mexico?
It's in New Mexico on the fall equinox. So in September 22nd through 25th. And then I'll also be going back to Zen Awakening Festival in Florida in November. And there's also the Southern Lights Flow Festival in Arkansas in the first weekend of August.
Cool. Well,
so those are the festivals that the temple will be at. And I'll be traveling as well, doing sound healing, offering workshops and energy healing wherever I go. I'm also working on some new curriculum for children, some mindfulness curriculum for children, which is another passion of mine, working with and empowering the youth. I feel like that's a very, it has a very special place in my heart.
Yes. That's good. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like you are quite busy this summer, believe it or not.
Busy bee.
Yeah. Great. Well, do you have any other questions, Selomon?
No, I'm grateful that you came and got to do an interview with us for our podcast. It's been a long time coming, and now it's manifesting. I feel good. I feel good in life.
Yeah, we're honored and grateful that you took time to be with us. We hope that you are able to join us in our chat room when this airs. We will get you a date. And I think that a great way to end out the podcast would be with one of the clips of one of her prayers or the blueprint activation. Something.
Okay. Yeah, we could do that because we are magical here.
So stay tuned.
Yep. Thank you.
Do you have anything else, Amanda?
No, I don't think so. I think that's it. Thank you both so much for the opportunity to connect with both of you and to connect with everybody else at Project Bring Me to Life. It's really wonderful to see what you're doing and to be a part of it. It's time.
It's time.
We are awakening.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yes. Thank you again, and you have a great day.
Yes, you too.
Creating this opportunity for us
Thanks for shining on with us.